Okay, I think I've sorted out the audio now. Apologies for that. Welcome to Race Spec Esports. We are at round 5, Azerbaijan for the Sprint Cup. And we have got cars out on track. We're riding on board with Snickersbud at the moment. Let's get some detail up here. Alright, let's get the map up. Alright, so Snickersbud's about to come across the finish line and hopefully set the first lap time of a 1:42.76. Well, it was 1:42.765, and R&P has just gone quicker with a 1:40. Was a 1:40.986, and Buster T16's now gone faster again on a 1:40.2, and Scotty 793's just done a 1:39.897. Banana Josh is out on track, coming through the final sector of the track into the very fast S's. As he's getting warmed up, coming onto the main straight to start his flying lap. So let's ride on board with Banana Josh and see what Banana Josh can. Banana Josh is pitted. All right, so let's have a look. Oz Formula. It's on an outlap at the moment. And Ferrari F1 Pro. Looks like Ferrari F1 Pro is on a flying lap. As we come into the final sector, the downhill, then the left-hander into the S section, which is a section that's very easy to get wrong. You can very easily get your lines wrong, run wide, and before you know it, you've made contact with the wall. So Ferrari F1 Pro sets 1:39.690, so puts them into third on the grid at the moment. Let's have a look, see who else is out here getting ready to set a time. So Oz Formula still on his outlap. Coming down the main straight to get started on the flyer. So coming down to turn 1, getting a nice wide line there out in the curb. Run a little bit wide there on the exit of the corner to maximize your speed into the straight. The tight left-hander there onto the next straight. It's another good overtaking spot down this straight if you can get a good slipstream and use your overtake during the race. There's lots of walls here on the Baku circuit, so it's very, very easy to take wing damage. It can really impact on your race. So coming into the castle section, we've seen many a person come a cropper through that section, but Oz Formula takes that reasonably well there, not too bad. Take a little bit of curb on the exit of the corner there. It's another sort of long stretch. Probably not the best spot to try and get an overtake done into the corner. You can very easily have an accident there on that corner before you come down the hill if you try and go too wide into that corner. Coming down through the S's now, high speed section onto the main straight. And this is going to be where we'll see the vast majority of the overtakes done. Will be down this straight. It is a very long straight, and Oz Formula sets a 141.7. So on the medium tyres, I suppose that's not terrible. But it'd be interesting to see if anybody else can do better on the mediums. Obviously RMP's done their time on the mediums as well. Let's have a look, see who else is out. Plevs is out here at the moment, so right on with Plevs. About to come into the castle section. You've got to get the right amount of inside curb on the entry to that section of the track. If you get that wrong, you're going to go straight into the wall on the outside of the corner. If you get it wrong, cutting in too tight, well, you're going to end up collecting the inside wall on the inside of the corner. So coming through the S's, let's see whether or not Plevs can put down a competitive time. So Leo's a weirdo at the moment with a 139.1. See what Plevs does as he comes across the line. 138.8, so nearly 3/10 quicker than Leo's a weirdo. So looks like a bit of work for others in the field to do. Let's see who else is out there. Snickers Buds out on the soft tyres now. Obviously didn't like the time they set with the mediums, so maybe a little bit untidy coming through the castle section there. Not quite as neat as we've seen Plevs and Oz Formula do that section of the track. And notice there that Snickers Bud avoids that curb on the inside of the corner. I see the esports races generally in the previous versions of this game very much take a lot of that corner without losing control of their cars. I'm not quite sure how they do that. Anytime I try that, I always end up in the wall. So let's see what sort of time Snickers Bud can set on the soft tyres. This is 141.1, so it didn't massively improve the time there, which is not great. Alright, let's have a look. Who's Oz Formula's back out on the track. On the medium still. So it'll be interesting to see whether or not that Oz Formula is actually going to be setting another time, or whether they're going into the pits. Well, it looks like we're going to set a new time. So let's see what sort of time we get. Well, that's not bad. A 139.784 on the mediums. That's pretty good. All right, let's have a look. We 921. Has set the 4th fastest time at the moment. We'll right on board, see how they can do, see whether or not they can improve. So it probably needs to find about 1.2 seconds. 1.2 seconds to be able to take pole. Through the castle section, yeah, not too bad. Enough pace through there to get through there quickly, but not too much that you can easily make a mistake. Looks like we've had Kuda retire from the session. I don't know what's happened there. And Scotty's had a spin. Don't know what's happened there with Scotty. Run out of fuel by the looks of things. Oh dear. Well, that's problematic. Alright, we'll ride back on with We921 and see what sort of time they can set. No, going into the pits. Okay, alright, let's have a look. Scotty's still stuck out there. Buster T16. Let's see if Buster can improve on their time. Assuming that they're not going into the pits. Buster does improve by nearly 4.5 tenths, but only enough to move him up a couple of spots. So, all right, who else is out there at the moment? Okay, well, let's ride on board with Reedy for a bit. So Reedy's on their outlap at the moment. Alright, so Reedy's coming through the final sector of the track. Through the S's. Let's see if Reedy can improve on the 141.0. It's not looking great. It does improve by 6 tenths. Yep, Reedy nearly had a mistake there through the castle section. Alright. Qualifying's nearly over. Let's see who's going to set a time in the last seconds. Tinsman's finished. Scotty's coming through. The S's now. See, come across the line, see if Scotty can improve on the 5th place. And no improvement there. So it looks like we've had 2 retirements from the session. Cooter and Snickers Bud. Honest Crook hasn't set a time. So Honest Crook will be starting from the back of the pack. Alright, so Leo as a weirdo is on pole, Plebs in 2nd, Oz Formula in 3rd. Then we have Ferrari F1 Pro, Scotty, Tinselman, Wee 921, Chronic Saint, Buster, T16, Arn-P, Cuda, Reedy, Snicks Buds, James Cruz, and I think it was Honest Crook and a couple others that I missed there. Alright, we'll wait for the race to start. Alright. Interesting setup with the formation lap there. There was a car back there that was weirdly positioned on the grid. A few cars a bit slow to get away. So Leo will lead the pack through. Hopefully at a reasonable pace. It looks like Reedy and Cooter have already come into contact, and they'll be sitting on the grid waiting for the rest of the field to come up. Right, we're getting lined up on the grid now, ready for the race start. Last car's coming in, so pit stops, soft, medium, soft, hard, seem to be roughly the same. So it'll be interesting to see how the cars go. All right, 1 light, 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, and we're racing here at Baku. It's a bit of a slow start for the front cars. A few pulled up. Oh no, we've already had a spinner. We've already had a spinner. 2 spinners, actually. So who have we had spin there? We've got Reedy, and it looks like Plebs might have lost out there somehow. I think he may have gotten spun right at the start. Alright, so we've got Leo's already pulled out a 1.2 second lead to Oz Formula. We've got F1 Ferrari Pro in behind Oz Formula, and then we 912 in 4th. So we's one of the bigger gainers at the start with 3 positions along with Buster T16. Also, Honest Crooks picked up 4 places at the start. Looks like Plebs and Scotty both lost places. I'm not sure if Scotty took some damage in the contact that occurred at the start. He seems to be a fair way off the back of the pack at the moment. Quite a way off the back of Oz Formula. Oz Formula's pulled back the gap that Leo had pulled out. We've got some changes occurring back here. Let's have a look. Pretty tight battle here between Buster, Chronic Saint, RMP, and Cuda. All right. So we've got some battling here between Chronic Saint, Buster and RMP. I love how the game is incapable of giving us accurate gaps on the first couple of laps. Oh no. Chronic Saint's binned it going through the S's. Oh, and somebody else has had a spin there as well. It looks like they may have had a coming together. So Kudo and Chronic Saint look like they may have had a coming together. Oh, that's unfortunate. And Scotty's also DNF'd. Our short field's gotten a little bit shorter now. Alright, everybody's pitting. So I guess that probably makes sense. Safety car's out, so it makes sense to pit, although Leo stayed out. So it'll be interesting to see whether or not Leo decides to come in and, at the end of this lap. he would definitely be sacrificing track position, but given that everybody else has already stopped to put on the mediums, he's certainly going to lose his position and potentially more by staying out further. The pack will start catching up. I guess we'll see whether or not Leo decides to come in momentarily. He might still have, if he comes in now, he might still be lucky enough to be able to get out and not lose too many spots. So he definitely has decided to come in. So it'll be interesting to see how many positions Leo loses as a result of this pit. Looks like Ferrari F1 Pros also come into pit as well. So if Leo can still get out in the lead, looks like he may actually pull this off. Ferrari F1 Pro looks like got out as well, so they've managed to get out and hold on to their positions. So staying out was obviously a good decision for Leo and F1 Ferrari Pro. Buster's up into third as well. Well, so started with 16 cars. We're now down to 14. So it'll be interesting to see how many finish. I do not recommend going side by side through the S's. I'm suspecting that's what possibly happened to Chronic Saint and to Cuda, which may have resulted in that accident. So it'll be interesting to see if either of them have recorded their footage and whether there's any protests to come in later. So, wonder how many laps we'll have to stay under the safety car. Hopefully this will be the last one. Obviously, safety car's not coming in this lap, so we'll get one more lap probably under the safety car, and then hopefully we'll get racing again. This track claims a lot of victims in both the virtual and in the real races. Seen plenty of mistakes, particularly in the castle section. Obviously, famously, Charles Leclerc in 2019 with the I am stupid moment that ruined things for him. He was, I think, odds on to get pole position, I think, had he not binned his car in the castle section. As I mentioned earlier, there's other spots that are quite challenging as well. Like I said, the left-hander before you come down the hill, that can catch you out if you take too much speed into that corner. catch the inside of that curb in the wrong way, you find yourself straight into the wall on the exit of the corner. Obviously the S's is another spot that can be fraught with danger, particularly when you're running close behind a car in front. The dirty air does actually play quite a significant part in what happens in that section of the track as well. So not too bad. You can generally go through there flat when you're on your own, but if you're trailing another car, maybe not 100% flat through that section. Very, very easy to lose the back end in the dirty air, and before you know it, you're in the wall. So we're coming through now. Looks like the safety car's coming in. Because Leo's backing up the pack, getting ready to go. I think we're away. Front row pros there. Not going to get a look in yet. Buster's right on his tail, so it's pretty close. The front three there. RMP's in hot pursuit as well. Tinselman as well. So we're getting some position changes towards the back here. James Cruz and Cuda battling out there, as is Honest Crook. Oh no. And looks like James Cruz has had a spin. Seems to have gotten away without any damage there, so hopefully we'll be able to get back into the race. He's dropped a fair way off the back now, but hopefully he'll catch up. Oz Formula's having a go up the inside of Banana Josh and pulls it off. That was a nice move. Get it done before the castle section. Alright, let's go and have a look up. Oops. The top here we've got RMP and the Tinselman and Plebs. Let's have a look back at Honest Crook and Banana Josh has had a spin. Alright, that's what's happened there. So lucky James Cruz manages to make up a position because Banana Josh had a spin. RMP is looking to get the overtake done on Tinselman. No, going into the pits. Okay, what's happened there? There's taking some damage. Yeah, wing damage. That's unfortunate. Oh, Kuda's had a spin. Banana Josh comes through. Oops. Had a bit of a spin going into the first corner there, so not sure what's happened there. Alright, Plebs is on the back of Tinselman. Let's ride on with these guys for a bit. See what happens. Nice and up close and personal with the back of Tinselman there. Very tidy through the castle section. Little bit of a twitch in the back end there from Plebs as he got the power down. Looks like we've lost Wee 211 out of the race. Not sure what's happened, whether it's no, okay, so not sure where that occurred. Alright, Snickers Bud's on the tail of Oz Formula. Let's see if Snickers Bud can get an overtake done coming down the main straight. DRS is open. Going to the inside. No. Didn't have the nose ahead. Alright, let's have a look. We've got Plebs. Plebs is at the back of a DRS train here with Buster T16, who's just getting ahead of the Tinselman. Plebs is trying to take Tinselman as well. Still side by side. Looks like Plebs is going to hold that position though, coming into the chicane, which is done. So it'll be interesting to see whether or not Tinselman can have a go back at Plebs shortly when they get into the next section of the track. I think Plebs will be trying to chase down and pass Buster. And Oz Formula's looking like they're going to come into this conversation as well. So Leo's kind of pulled out a 3-second gap now. Something's happened here with Kuda's had another spin. Oh dear, oh dear. Right back on board with Plebs. Plebs is right on the tail now of Buster. He's going to get the overtake done easily. Oz Formula's on the tail of Tinselman as well. Whether he's going to get the overtake done before we... he's going for it. No, he's holding off. We'll see if Oz Formula can take Tinselman into the braking zone. He's going to have a go. Is he going to? Yes. Oh, that was just left him just enough room there. It was awfully close to putting him into the wall, but enough room to allow them both to get through. Okay, Plebs looks like he's put a gap on Buster now, but Oz Formula is going to have a crack at Buster going into the next corner. Gets that done relatively easily before we go into the castle section. Oh, bit of a twitchy back end there from Oz Formula. So it'll be interesting to see whether or not Buster can hold his position from the Tinselman. Tinselman seems like he's ready to have another go back at Buster, but Oz Formula's already pulled out a gap, and we'll be chasing down Plebs. So I reckon Tinselman will probably get the overtake done here coming down the main straight with the DRS and potentially with ERS. Yeah, he's going to get that overtake done easily before they even hit the braking zone. So, not a bit untidy there, and Buster's going to fight it back going into the next corner and manages to take that position back. And manages to keep the DRS as well. Tinselman has a look, but yeah, he's not gonna get that position back overly quickly. It's quite a little battle they've got going on here. Buster T16 and Tinselman. Keeping nice and tight, just waiting for the opportunity in the next overtaking zones. Like I said, you can, in theory, potentially pull an overtake coming into this braking zone, into the downhill. It's a very risky move, but can be done. I've seen it done, but you're better off to wait. Well, looks like we've lost James Cruz, so we're down to 11, no, it'll be 10 runners now. 10 runners left in the race. So it looks like Tinselman doesn't want to wait for the DRS. He was trying to get it done through the S's, which is pretty dangerous. But he does get the overtake done. So the question is, does Buster have enough left in those medium tyres to be able to fight back? So they're both on the medium, so there's no tyre advantage, but it does look like Tinterman is going to build out a gap. So let's check in with Plebs and Oz Formula. Let's see how we're tracking here. So neither of them have got a significant amount of ERS to deploy, so there's not a lot that can be done to not a lot that can be done to fight, I guess, when ERS is so low, but I guess they'll use it as best they can. Obviously Oz Formula has the tyre advantage, being on the soft tyres. 2 laps to go. He's going to want to try and get that overtake done as quickly as he can, and start to build out a gap to secure that final podium place. But at the moment, Leo's a weirdo's absolutely checked out in front with a 6-second lead, and F1 Ferrari Pros, got a good 2 seconds to Plebs. So is Oz Formula going to have a crack going into turn 1? No, not quite close enough yet. So we'll see if he has a go in the next ERS zone. He's quite close behind. Just whether or not he's got enough ERS. Plebs is putting his car where he can to try and fight it off, which is good defensive moves. So it's managed to hold Oz Formula at bay for at least another half a lap probably, unless Oz Formula wants to take a risk and throw the car into one of those other corners where it can be a little bit more risky. Still got a lap and a bit to go, so there's still time for Oz Formula to get that overtake done. And Plebs has managed to bite into that lead that F1 Ferrari Pro had over him in second place. Let's see what Oz Formula's got. Is he close enough? 0.4 of a second behind. He's got the DRS. He's using up all his ERS. I think he's going to get it done this time. And he does. This Pleb's going to fight it back. He's going to get the DRS on this section of the track, so let's see whether or not those older mediums have got enough life in them to have a go back at him. It looks like he's decided to back out of it. I guess hold on to it. I guess hold on to the back of Oz Formula. Probably not a bad strategy. Going that way, going into the final section of the circuit on the final lap. Hopefully get the DRS and hopefully bank your ERS enough to be able to take the position on the main straight. Plebs has definitely been harvesting ERS, comparatively speaking, to Oz Formula, so I think he's definitely got a chance if he can stay close. 0.6 is probably a bit too far. Probably a bit too far now. So I think Oz Formula is going to be safe in third place here. Well, no Plebs is having a go. He's going to go up. Oh, look at that. Absolutely gets it done and crosses the line in third. That was a close battle there, folks. That was a close battle for third place. Probably a smart play there by Plebs, holding Oz Formula off until the second to last lap, allowing him to take the lead, and then well, not take the lead, but take the third place, and then just sit in behind and get it back right at the end. So Leo's won the race quite convincingly in the end. So that decision to pit after everybody else had pitted for the safety car worked out well. He managed to keep on to hold a first place. F1 Ferrari Pro, similar strategy, worked very, very well for him. So good work to those two guys, and great battling there between Plebs and Oz Formula. That was a really nice battle to watch. I noticed the Kiwi flag there for Leo's a weirdo. So watching the Pacific Series more often than not, you see the Australian flag. You don't tend to see the New Zealand flag that often. So that nice representation from the Kiwis. So only technically 9 finishes. Reedy's still qualified there as having finished 10th officially, 2 laps down. But yeah, only 9 of the 16 finishers technically actually completed the race. So be interesting to see what happens in the next race, because obviously with the Sprint Cup you get the reverse grid scenario in the second race. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there with the second race. We'll take a short break momentarily while the grid gets organised for the second race, and we'll be back shortly. Alright, second race is about to get underway. Just waiting for everybody to join the session. Alright. Counting down the seconds until we get started again. I'm wondering whether or not we've got a similar problem to what we had previously, where the game has crapped itself for me as a spectator. Looks like we may have an issue with the lobby. Oh, here we go. Alright. Looks like we're good to go. So we're off on the formation lap. Reedy somehow managed to secure pole, having DNF'd. But because I said he was classified as only 2 laps down rather than a DNF, the game's given him the pole position as a result. So we've got Reedy on pole, P in P2, Honest Crook in P3, Buster T16, Snickers Bud, Tinselman, Oz Formula, Plevs, Ferrari F Pro 1, and Leo's a Weirdo. And then so that's the top 10 in reverse grid order. And then we've got James Cruz, Cuda, Banana Josh, Wee921, Chronic Saint, and Scotty, who all DNF'd the previous race, so they're starting from their finishing positions. So it'll be interesting to see whether, similar to what we've seen in previous races, where the faster drivers managed to get past the slower drivers at the at the start of the race. So this time it's predicting soft, medium, lap 5 to 9, medium, hard strategy 8 to 12. So let's have a look. What have we got tyres wise? Okay, so we got half the field are on softs, half the fields are starting on mediums. I'm not sure a 13 lap race would warrant medium hards. I would have thought soft medium and medium soft would be the strategy. We've had some cars collide into each other on the formation lap. I see this happen quite a bit. All you need to do is keep a bit of a gap. If you keep a bit of a gap, you don't have these issues. It's not that hard to do to keep a gap on the warm-up lap, but I see it repeatedly. People not leaving enough space, or sometimes the lead car driving slowly. Alright, 1 light, 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, and we're off and racing in race 2 of the Sprint Cup at Azerbaijan. Reedy's a bit slow to get away there. RMP manages to get ahead. No. Reedy's managed to stay ahead. Sorry, it was RMP who was a little bit slow to get away there. Oops. So we've got Tinselman's tucked in behind RMP. Honest Crook and Buster battling out at the back of those two, and then you've got Plebs and F1 Ferrari Pro battling out behind them. So you've got Tinselman and Honest Crook battling out now. Sorry, that was Tinselman and RP battling out. Honest Crook and Buster quite close. Plebs not far behind them. Ferrari F1 Pro also close, as is Oz Formula. And Leo's a weirdo. Bit of a gap back to the rest of the pack there. It looks like Cooter's lost a wing. Snickers Bud and Banana Josh are going to go past, I would imagine, very, very shortly. Depends on whether Snickers Bud wants to take the risk trying to go past in the S's, or whether just hold off until the straight and just wait for Cooter to go into the pits. So Ferrari, F1 Pro and Oz Formula battling it out there, along with Plebs and Buster, Honest Crook, Tinselman, RMP, Scotty's coming to the pits. Oh, we've got a virtual safety car. Looks like Banana Josh is pitted, gone onto the hard tyres. So a few cars are taking the opportunity to pit. Reedy's stayed out. As has RMP, Tinselman, Honest Crook, Buster, Plebs and F1 Ferrari Pro. Oz Formula have all stayed out. Leo's Weirdo stayed out. So it looks like the back runners are the ones who have all decided to pit and take new tyres. So everyone at the front stayed out. So we're back racing now. I really wish that they would fix this bug where you don't know what the gap is. So it looks like Tinselman's going to try and have a go at Reedy. No, he's held off. So DRS is now enabled, so maybe on the next straight, Tinselman might have a go at RMP, or Honest Crook might even have a go at Tinselman. So RMP, oh, they've come together there. Looks like they've gotten through there without damage, but they're still battling. So RMP's gotten through, Tinselman's dropped in behind. You've got Honest Crook and Plevs right on their tail. So Tinselman's on the faster tyre in theory, but it will degrade a lot quicker, comparatively speaking. What's happened there? Reedy's had a bit of an issue. And RMP's managed to get ahead of Reedy. Reedy was going to have a look up the inside there by the looks of things. It's pretty close racing here at the front. Looks like Reedy's dropped off the back of RMP a bit. Tinselman's still very close. I reckon Tinselman will get the overtake done quite easily. Behind us there you've got Plevs and F1 Ferrari Pro and Honest Crook. Look like they're all battling for position. Looks like they've all decided to dive into the pits along with Tinselman. Honest Crook stayed out, as has Reedy and RMP. So the only cars out there that haven't pitted are Reedy and RMP and Honest Crook. So a virtual safety car. Oh, Buster T16 has DNF'd, as has Kuda. Oh, and F1 Ferrari Pro has picked up a drive-through penalty, not measuring their delta under the VSC conditions. So RMP's managed to pull out a gap already, so we've got Honest Crook chasing down Reedy now. Unfortunate for F1 Ferrari Pro, a drive-through penalty is pretty much going to ruin the race. It's going to end up probably right at the back. Maybe we'll come out ahead of Banana Josh, but pretty much behind everyone else once they get that pit in. Well, not pit in, but once they get their drive through the pits done. Yeah, can definitely drop off a few positions. Have got several laps in which to get that done, and it looks like Honest Crook's making the move on Reedy. Did that quite easily there. So F1 Ferrari Pro's gone into the pits now to do that drive-through penalty. So it'll be interesting to see where they come out. Reedy's still battling away with Honest Crook. Oh, just lost the back end there on the exit of the chicane. Puts himself at risk there. It'll be interesting to see if Honest Crook's just going to bide his time. Wait until we get to the next section. So we've got some battling back here between Oz Formula, Tinselman and Plevs. So Oz Formula's just managed to get ahead of Tinselman. So we'll see whether or not Tinselman can fight back. Leo is coming into that conversation as well now. So it'll be interesting to see what happens down the main straight. Gaps are probably slightly too big. They've all, well, Tinselman doesn't have a lot of ERS, so he's probably going to be at risk to Leo. Leo's got quite a bit of ERS left in the tank, but it seems to be biding his time. Has just set the fastest time. He's definitely on the charge. But aren't P sort of... Okay, that's a bit of a glitch there. I'm pretty sure Scotty's not in the lead of the race. Armpy's pulled out quite a gap. And Leo gets the overtake on Tinselman. So Tinselman's dropping off the pace now. It's interesting to see whether or not he can take the position back. He's staying in contention, but it'll be interesting to see how long that lasts. Obviously Leo's on the much faster soft tyre, so if Leo can pull out a gap, I guess the advantage being that if his tyres do start to fall off the cliff, he'll hopefully have built a big enough gap that Tinselman won't be able to catch him. But at this point in time, Tinselman's still only 5/10 off the back, so there is still a good chance that he can stay in contention for a bit longer. So Oz Formula's got 40%, Plebs is down to 25. So Oz Formula's hanging on to the back of Plebs, and I guess similarly, the faster tyre, you imagine that he will catch up and get past at some point in time. So, not sure what's happened to Tinselman. He's dropped right off the back of Oz Formula. Oh no! Oh, what's Oz Formula and Plebs have come together by the looks of things. I'm not sure what's happened there. Looks like Osformia has taken quite a bit of wing damage there. I'm not sure if Plebs has taken any damage in that situation. Try and check it out. Looks like he's okay. Obviously, Honest Crook and the others are very much going to catch and pass Oz Formula now. So I'm not sure what happened there. I missed that one. So sorry for missing that, folks. So we've got Honest Crook, Chronic Saint and James Cruz. They're bunching up behind. It looks like Snickers Bud might actually, We9211 might actually catch them up if they get held up too much more by Oz Formula. So I imagine Oz Formula will be jumping into the pits now. Get a replacement nose cone, so we'll see what happens with Chronic Saints pitting. Oh, we've got another safety car, right. So everybody's jumping into the pits again. Is Scotty really leading the race? That's very interesting if that's the case. Okay, because he hasn't pitted. No, he did pit early. I guess everybody else has pitted. No, okay, so there we go. He's dropped back into where he's supposed to be. There's some definite glitches in this game still that make it quite frustrating to watch, not to mention to play. So Leo is now leading the race. He's not pitted. Looks like Tinselman stayed out as well, which makes sense, I suppose. On the medium tyres, they've only done 3 laps, so they'll be able to take him through to the end of the race. Scotty's the other one who's stayed out, 5-lap old soft tyres, which he's got to carry for another 5 laps into this race. So it looks like we're largely back where we were. Leo leading a race yet again. I guess the only difference is Plebs is currently in 6th, so he's got to make up a few spots to finish back on the podium. And F1 Ferrari Pro's DNF'd, so not going to be able to recreate the podium from the previous race. I love how glitchy this game is. So Scotty's now back in the lead of the race according to the game, even though he definitely is not. I do sometimes wonder whether or not we get way too many safety cars, particularly in these shorter races. You know, in a sprint race, I guess what you want to see is drivers driving as much of the race as possible, not spending countless laps behind a safety car. But I guess that's the game, that's the way it is, and we've got to get used to it, I guess. So it'll be interesting to see how long the safety car stays out. Hopefully it comes in relatively quickly. We've only got 4 laps of the race left to go, so it would be nice to see a bit of racing before the end. So is the safety car coming in? Lights are still on. Safety car is coming in this lap, so we are going to get racing again. So Leo will start backing the pack up, get ready to get racing again. See how far he's prepared to go down the main straight before getting going. And it looks like he's going to go now. So RMP didn't necessarily react as quickly as Tinselman did. Tinselman reacted quite quickly, but RMP's putting the car right where it needs to be to block any possible overtake going into turn 1. And we won't have any DRS, obviously, probably at all for the rest of the race, given that it's usually 3 laps after the safety car that DRS gets re-enabled. So this might be a bit of a procession for the rest of the race, as nobody's going to have an advantage over anyone else. So Chronic Saints picked up a 5-second penalty. I didn't see what that was for. Right, Oz Formula is going to try and make their way back through the field. I guess the safety car's probably not been a bad bad outcome for Oz Formula, but again, not having DRS means it's going to be hard to get overtakes done. Everybody's probably got their ERSs fully charged again, so they can all defend quite hard. So it'll be interesting to see whether or not anyone can actually get an overtake done. Whoops. Oh no. We've lost Reedy and Honest Crook there. I'm not sure what's happened. It looks like they've had it coming together. Maybe tried to go side by side through the... and Oz Formula looks like he's taken damage again. Oh dear. So we're back down to 10 cars on track. So it seems no safety car this time round, just yellow flags, and we're back racing. So Tinselman's looks like chasing down RMP. Chronic Saints a bit further back with W92. So it looks like the battle we're going to have is for P2 potentially. Maybe a battle for P4 as well as we go into the final couple of laps. RMP's got 52%, Tinselman's only got 33%, so without DRS I think it's going to be a bit of a battle. Alright, we got W291 is tied on the back of Chronic Saint. DRS has just been enabled. Okay, so they have re-enabled DRS, so we may see some overtakes from W9211, 921, potentially on Chronic Saint, and Tinselman potentially on RMP for P2. But Leo's sort of checked out in front again. So this looks like the best battle we're going to have on track for the rest of the race is between RMP and Tinselman. I guess the advantage RMP has is soft tyres. That's going to give him the advantage, 3-lap-old soft tyres versus Tinselman's 7-lap-old mediums. So maybe Tinselman might be able to get the overtake done. We'll have DRS. Obviously RMP's got no DRS on Leo. Leo's checked out now, 2.6 seconds out in front. So it'll be interesting to see whether Tinselman can get the overtake done. He's got the DRS. Whether or not he's got enough ERS, he's going to pull on. No, backs out of it. Okay, Chronic Saints now right on the tail of W921. So didn't get the greatest exit off the corner there onto the straight. Oh, Tinselman's got ahead of RMP. Got ahead of RMP going into the braking zone on the second DRS. We've now got potentially a four-way battle for the final two podium positions. Although RMP's managed to pull out a bit of a gap, not a huge amount. Chronic Saint and we are right on the back. Sorry, Tinselman, I meant pulling out the gap. Right on the back of RMP, so still a chance here that... his formula's DNF'd. I missed that one as well. We're down to 9 finishes. Ooh. Yeah, that was unfortunate. RMP's gone into the wall. As I said, that's quite an easy thing to do. We're going to go 3 wide through the S's here. Is RMP going to be able to hold on? I don't think RMP is going to be able to hold on. Oh no, they've gone into each other, into the wall. That's ruined both of their races. And it looks like We921 is going to be the one who comes out on top in that battle there towards the end. And Chronic Saint, obviously with the 5-second penalties, dropped right back anyway. I suspect that there might be a number of reports out of this race tonight. Both races. They looked like there was quite a lot of comings together. You know, people forcing other people into walls and the like. So I expect that we're going to see quite a few reports out of this particular race. So Leo, class above the field, 2 wins. The second one being from 10th on the grid to finish first, and again with quite a commanding lead. So it's been an interesting couple of races tonight. Not many finishes in either race. We had nine in this one and 10 in the first one. But Leo seemed to just have the edge over everybody else on this particular track. Just did a very good job tonight in both races. Tinselman did well in the end to get the second place on the podium, and We921 I guess managed to I guess benefit from the problems that occurred behind. So, you know, well done to everybody tonight. Like I said, there was some good racing there was some good overtaking. I think there's probably been some questionable driving as well that may lead to some penalties after the fact. So might be a bit of work for the stewards coming up. Well, thank you for tuning in for the race tonight. We'll catch you next week.